Hey guys, Happy New Year to each and everyone here in Canada and in the United States. I am so excited that you guys are here on to the channel. Why don't you do me guys a favor and subscribe? Today we're talking about President Donald Trump. He has told Americans that he's going after Mexico, and what's next? It could be Canada next. So let's dive in. So Trump just told America that he's going after Mexico next, and Canada needs to wake up. Donald Trump just announced that he's starting hitting drug cartels on land, not just on sea, and Mexico is one of these areas. Less than a week after, American Special Forces raided Venezuela. As we know, on January the 3rd, this happened, just of this year, and he captured the president of the country, Nicolas Maduro. Trump just went on Fox News and said that United States is going to start hitting land with regard to cartels because the cartels are running Mexico. This is not just a drill. It is not just a bluff. As we know, the president who invaded in Venezuela and who designated fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction is now saying, no, we are going after all these cartels. As you know, that in the United States, they have claimed that over 250,000 people have died just to drugs only. So they are taking this seriously, and Mexico is not safe. And if you think that Canada is safe, you are terribly wrong. Just because we're allies, this is something that is long gone and it's not going to happen anymore. The writing is on the wall. Since Trump took office, he is not respecting any of the allies that he had before, and Canada is no exception. As we can see, they have put 25% on tariffs, and now the consumer goods are for review just this month. As we have seen with what has happened in Venezuela, the question is not whether Trump will use military power in North America. The question is when and how far he will actually go. Here is what people do not understand about the current moment. Trump has already conducted 25 known strikes on drug cartel boats in the Caribbean, killing over 115 individuals. Actually, 115 individuals is what's documented. He invaded a sovereign nation, which we just talked about, and captured the leader. Then he flew this leader into New York City, where he's facing charges of drug trafficking. Mexico President Claudia Sheinbaum has rejected American military to invade multiple times, stating that Mexico is a free sovereign country and that cooperation is acceptable, but subordination and intervention is not. So Trump does not care. He told Fox that he has asked this president numerous times if she would like United States to take out the cartels, and she keeps saying no.
Tonight, Mexico's president is urging closer coordination with the U.S. after President Trump threatens land strikes on drug cartels that he claims are running Mexico.
Presidente Trump.
Sheinbaum warns U.S. military action in Mexico would be a grave violation of the country's sovereignty, while insisting her government has been dismantling drug labs and increasing enforcement.
And this brings us to Canada. The Eurasia Group, you should see this article, one of the most respected geopolitical risk firms in the world, published their top risk of 2026, and they said that Canada may be the nation most profoundly impacted by the United States. Think about that for a second. Not Ukraine, not Taiwan, not Iran, but Canada, because Trump has lumped Canada and Mexico into the same basket when it comes to fentanyl and organized crime. Prime Minister Trudeau acknowledged last September that cartel and drugs from one country operate in another country and vice versa. The RCMP raided massive fentanyl factories in British Columbia and Alberta just in October. We're not just a transit country anymore, we're a manufacturing hub. Mexican cartels are running superlabs on Canadian soil that can produce 44 to 60 pounds of fentanyl in 1 week. Can you imagine that? CMP, they admit that they have no airborne border surveillance after 4 and in the afternoon and weekdays and on weekends. This is not border security. This increased terrorists on Canada from 25% to 35% in July, especially because of our continued role in the opioid crisis. The White House fact sheet was brutal. It said Canada has failed to arrest traffickers and seize illicit drugs and coordinate with American law enforcement, and Canada retaliated against the United States for trying to address this threat. So fentanyl seizures at the northern border this fiscal year surpassed the total seizure of the last 3 years combined altogether. The amount seized could have killed more than 16 million Americans. Trump is not making this up. This fact is actually true. Our response has been pathetic, and now we are in the blast radar of a president who has shown he will use military force to solve problems when diplomacy fails. The COSMA exception has been the only thing saving Canada's economy, really, from a total collapse. Goods that comply with the Canada, United States, and Mexico agreement can still cross the border duty free. But the exemption is absolutely at risk in this year 2026 review that has already started to happen. If Trump walks away from CUSMA or ends the exception, Canada's economists say our economy would face a longer-term scaring.
So at a Ford plant in Detroit, reporters asking him what he makes of this renegotiation effort on CUSMA. Here's how he replied.
I don't even think about USMCA. I mean, I want to see Canada and Mexico do well, but the problem is we don't need their product. We don't need cars made in Canada. We don't need cars made in Mexico. We want to make them here. And that's what's happening. Everybody's moving here. From Canada, they're coming here. From Mexico, from Japan, from Germany, from all over the world, they're coming here. They're opening up their plants.
Mark Carney said himself that the old United States and Canada relationship based on deepening economic integration and tight security cooperation is over. He called this a hinge moment in Canadian history, and he was right. But the hinge is swinging in a very dangerous direction, and nobody in Ottawa seems to understand the stakes. Trump claims cartels are killing 250,000 to 300,000 Americans every year. So the international law says that you cannot conduct military strikes on the territory of an ally without their permission. Trump has already demonstrated in Venezuela that he does not care about military law. He told the New York Times that he's not constrained by international law or Congress, but by his own morality.
We've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by water, and we are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico. It's very, very sad to watch and see what's happened to that country.
And Whit, President Trump is also escalating his threats to take Greenland from our NATO ally Denmark. When asked this week whether there's any limits to his power on the world stage, Trump said only his own morality, his mind, can stop him.
And that, my Canadian friends, it should terrify every single Canadian here, because Trump's moral law apparently includes invading countries, bombing drug infrastructures without authorization. Fair, I guess. Canada is vulnerable in ways that Mexico is not. We do not have the population or the military to resist American pressure. We are economically dependent on the United States to a degree that is almost suicidal. 77% of our exports go to America. the United States of America. We share the largest undefended border in the world, which is now a propaganda liability because Trump keeps pointing to it as proof we are not serious about security. And unlike Mexico, Canada has spent decades assuming the relationship with America was special and untouchable. That assumption, my friends, is now dead. Trump has threatened to annex Canada as the 51st state. He has openly talked about using economic force to control our own resources. The percentage of Canadians who view the United States favorably fell over 60% to 24% in March of 2025. We are watching the foundation of North America cooperation crumble in real time. The worst part is that Canada actually has a fentanyl problem when you look at the meat and potatoes of it. That justifies some of Trump's rhetoric. It's not rhetoric anymore because it's actually true. British Columbia casinos become billion-dollar money laundering operations for Asian drug cartels backed by Chinese Communist Party. Investigative journalist Sam Cooper documented how these network casinos to elicit real estate schemes in Vancouver and in Toronto. We ignored and repeated American demands to deal with the problem, and we were slow to act. We were very arrogant. Our government was very arrogant, and now Trump has the receipts and he has imposed the initial tariffs. Trump is not bluffing about Mexico. He will hit cartel infrastructure on land, probably through drone strikes or special forces raids on the labs that are in Mexico. And leadership targets, he will go after it. But the president of Mexico will condemn it. Latin America countries have screamed about sovereignty. Trump will not care. The operation will be marketed as targeting terrorists, not Mexico itself, even though it will be a clear violation of Mexican territory integrity. And once that line is crossed, Canada becomes next in line, not for invasion, but for unilateral American operation targeting cartel networks and fentanyl production inside of Canada. If Trump believes Canadian authorities are not doing enough and that cartels are operating superlabs in rural British Columbia, what is stopping him from sending a team to blow them up? International law? Think twice. He doesn't care. Canada objections? He does not care either. The special relationship is over. What should Canada do? We should be flooding resources into border security, shutting down every superlab that we can find, arresting every cartel operation on Canadian soil, that we're demonstrating to Washington that we are very serious about this threat. We should be preemptively offering joint operations so that Trump does not feel the need to act unilaterally. But we are not doing that in our government to the scale required because Canadian politicians are still pretending this is a negotiation where both sides have equal leverage. We do not. Trump holds all the cards. He has the military, he has the economy, he has the political force to use, and he has an American public that will support actions against drug cartels, even if it means violating sovereignty of allies. The broader lesson is that Trump has fundamentally rewritten the rules of American foreign policy. He does not care about allies or treaties or international norms. He cares about results as he defines them, and he is willing to use overwhelming force to achieve these results. Canada spent 70 years building a relationship with the United States based on trust. Trump torched this relationship in just 1 year with tariffs and annexation threats and rhetoric that treats Canada like a problem to be solved rather than a partner to be respected. And instead of recognizing the new reality, Canadian leaders keep hoping that if we are polite and reasonable enough, the old relationship will come back. The truth is, it will not. Trump is not interested in the old relationship, he is interested in dominance. Mexico is about to learn this lesson the hard way, and Canada needs to learn it before American special forces are operating on our soil without permission. The window to act is closing fast, and I really hope our politicians and our law enforcement will be able to do something about this. If you think the border will protect us, then you're wrong. And if you think our alliance will protect us, you're living in the past. The only thing that will protect Canada now is proving to Trump that we are serious about shutting down cartels in our own country and fentanyl production on our soil before he decides to do it on us. Please, my friends, if you can do me a favor and follow and like this video, I am so honored if you would be kind enough to subscribe to this channel. I'm working hard to bring you some information, and I really hope that it is helpful in any way. So what do you think? Do you think Canada is next after Mexico? Honestly, with Trump, it's so hard to read him. It's hard to know when it's threats and when he's meaning the truth. But if you can see with what has happened in Venezuela, you can tell that he means wow. So with that all being said, Canada needs to wake up and we need to do something about this. Have a good day, guys. Bye.